So what I want to do is deep dive just for a few minutes about exactly how this works. As I mentioned it before, one of the number one issues with outbound email campaigns is deliverability. So what do normal agencies do that cause problems? One, they tend to use your normal domain, your regular domain. We can't do that. If something goes wrong and you're sending too many emails or you get spammed or something like that, now your actual production domain is in jeopardy. So we're not doing that. The first thing we do is we get 2 or 3 additional domains that are like yours, adjacent, somewhat like it, and we start those warming up. And under each one, we create a series of mailboxes, and we get those warming up as well. We start that immediately because that process takes 5 or 6 weeks, because the idea is it's not a gimmick. We're legitimately going to create reputation for this domain in the legitimate way. And it just takes time. We're doing it in an automated way. I'm using my automation and engineering experience to create a solution that does this for us. Basically, what you have are a bunch of bots that are talking to each other for 5 or 6 weeks, building reputation, sending emails, all that good stuff as if they're real people. Now, speaking of real people, each of those mailboxes has a persona. That can be mimicking an actual member of your sales staff or somebody else on your team, or we can come up with a completely new persona that's fake. We'll use AI, generate a good headshot, we'll give it a title, do a signature. The mailbox will be named after it, and it'll be as if this is a real person. And we'll circle back a bit later to how that actually works. Now, as an engineer, I realize that the vast majority of this is just engineering, automation, and networking. And it just so happens that's exactly what I've been spending the past 20 years doing. So this arose out of necessity to begin with, because I myself realized that I'm going on my own, I'm consulting, I'm doing that kind of thing. I'm in need for client acquisition. I can build almost anything for anybody, but I don't know how to get clients. So that's where the need for this came up with, and I realized after investigating how agencies run and how outbound is done, that there's just a few key engineering issues that needed to be addressed to create a reliable system. So we've got our domains, we've got our mailboxes, we've got our personas, and they're warming up talking to each other for 6 weeks. So what do we do in the meantime as part of onboarding? Another thing we have is a wonderful database with about 250 million contacts in it. These are mostly active, accurate contacts, and we can be ultra targeted. We can target by demographic, how big they are, revenue, are they growing? We can detect purchasing intent, like things they've been clicking on the internet, the level within their company, are they the CEO, the CTO, a VP of marketing, what industry are they in? Do they use a specific piece of software? We can be very specific. And then what we do is we get that list and we keep constantly updating that list, and that's our base. But we also don't want to just trust that list initially. So we've got an automation layer that runs underneath that goes and verifies all this stuff. It grabs that person and it says, okay, what's their LinkedIn? What company do they work for? Let me get some information about this company. And it builds a profile for all of these contacts. And it allows us to get a super good pool of clients, to potential clients, your clients, to pull from. And we begin populating that in a database on a regular schedule, keeping that list clean and using it as we use it. Now, in terms of using it, the reason why it's important to have multiple mailboxes and have this infrastructure is because one thing that we get you blacklisted and spammed faster than anything is just blasting out emails all over the place super fast. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. You can't do that. Normal people don't do that. The idea is that these mailboxes are going to behave like normal people. They're powered by AI, but they're not being crazy and sending things out at a pace that a machine could, because we don't do that as people. You want the mailboxes to behave like people. So we're building an automated system to where that can happen. Now, in terms of managing and keeping those mailboxes and domains healthy, again, that's engineering stuff. DKIM, DMARC, DNS, we do the whole setup. We monitor it every day. We get tickets if anything goes wrong. We remediation plan for exactly what we do. if reputation starts to tank or we start to have deliverability issues. Now, what's the goal of the outmail campaigns? One, we'll work with you and we'll research constantly because we're plugged into a lot of things. First off, just what's working, generally speaking. Secondly, we want to email these people, again, as if we're just real people. Hey, I looked into your company. I noticed this personalized thing we went and found. I was wondering if you'd like to set up a meeting. And then we do a sequence where a few days later we follow up and say, hey, I just wanted to ping you again, or maybe another member on the virtual team, or maybe we even kick it over to an actual person or the owner. The point is that we create a custom sequence that goes and continuously contacts these people for a period of time, targeting specifically who we want to contact and monitoring very closely how that goes. So if it replies, we can take that reply and figure out, okay, did they say it costs too much? If so, what do we say in that situation? Did they say they don't have time? Did they say, yeah, sure, let's schedule a meeting? There's really a finite number of things that a person says in that situation, and we prepare for each of them. And if the answer to that situation is, say this, then the mailbox does it as that persona. Or maybe it's, okay, hey, if it's a CEO and they're showing interest and X, Y, and Z, I want you to ping me so that I can jump in. The point is that we create that automated system around however your sales flow needs to work. So we're finding contacts from a premium database. We're verifying them. We're putting them through a deliverability infrastructure that's been designed to withstand, to rotate like engines, and to stay running. We're automating and following up, gathering information about these companies, looking for growth signals for revenue, finding them on LinkedIn, populating it into a nice dashboard so that you can see all that stuff, be prepared for these meetings, managing the actual scheduling of the meetings itself. The calendar is part of the mailbox, so the AI knows about it. And even if we book a meeting with one of the virtual salespeople, you can always do that last minute switcheroo. You know what? Our owner saw this and he decided, I want to be a part of this call. So we're kicking it over to him. See what I mean? There's a lot of different things we can do. This is not a just off-the-shelf service. It's white glove. We're going to go ahead and see exactly who your ICP is, exactly the best way to talk to them, at what frequency, and who the message should be coming from, and create that system in an automated fashion. Keep it running. Now, why does this work so well? It works well because for the same reason as any other system that we support. Automation, repeatability, being systematic, documentation, follow-up. All of the same reasons that any of the other things that you're working on would be either successful or not successful. It's MSP 101 kind of stuff. Now, who's this for? This is for MSPs that want a reliable outbound pipeline that we can throttle up and down. We can blast mode when you are doing some kind of promotion. If you're busy, we can throttle it back. But it's managed as a service the same way you manage people's networks and systems. It's literally no different. There's many technical pieces to it. And because I spent so many years in back ends of MSPs working out systems to manage all these things, that's exactly what I've done here. So if you're an MSP that needs this kind of thing and is interested in it, then definitely reach out. Let's book a demo. I'll tell you who else this is for, is that if you're a small MSP with just 2 or 3 people, then maybe this is a little bit overkill for you because, like I said, it does work. You will get contacts and you will get meetings. And so in order to do this, you need to be ready for that. So typically we recommend maybe 5 people, at least a couple million in revenue to get started. Now on the top end of that, if you're an MSP that just wants to go wild, the system I've built is scalable. I've got a couple of tiers there that make sense for most MSPs, but if you're like a hyper large MSP and you want to build an even bigger infrastructure to get emails out every day, we can do that as well. That's the enterprise plan. So again, take a look around the page, click that book a demo button, and we'll book a meeting with me, and we'll talk about it, make sure that everything is a good fit for you, and we can get started. So again, Brian Kelly from AutomatedMSP, founder, and I hope to talk to you soon.